So the initial first design that I did was a Western shirt, and you will be seeing it soon. The shirt is entitled "Still She Rose," or it's titled that because of the journey I had to take to get to where I am, right? And it's in gratitude of every peak, every valley, every low point where I didn't believe I could go forward. I had the most high. Nope, you're gonna have to stand. I need you to stand. You may have to face some tough realities and look at some things about yourself that you didn't want to see. But we can do this. Stand and let's go.
Time to embrace change and be about that life. Hello, this is Dr. Batts with the About That Life podcast, the podcast about life or living intentionally forever. Well, February is an important time for us. It is African American History Month. That's right. But it's also Heart Health Month. And so I thought, what better way to bring my love for medicine and my adoration for my community together by having a very special guest on. Now, this guest is also a medical professional. That's correct. You know, I couldn't have a show without one. But they're also a clothing designer that focused on us, our ancestry, our culture, and the Black West, which is something that we don't hear a lot about. I want to introduce to some and present to others Candace Adams Lovings. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me. This is an amazing opportunity.
Well, you knew I was going to have it. I mean, you act like you surprised.
That doesn't matter.
You act like you surprised. Well, I mean, I had the privilege of shooting some of the clothing that you put out. And we're going to wait. So they don't get to hear about that stuff. That's the fun stuff. But how are you today? What's going on?
Doing absolutely amazing. Thank you for asking. Moving every day towards my dream. That's it.
Now you're from San Antonio, correct?
Yeah.
You're from San Antonio, and you grew up here, and then I saw you Texas Tech, so you know, I saw that. I'm a Big 12 guy, you know, I'm University of Kansas, you know. Hopefully we're not playing each other in basketball today, but if we are, after this, we're not friends anymore, at least until after the game.
Exactly.
At least until after the game, right? But talk about your experience growing up, born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. I mean, how did growing up here shape some of your ideas and things that you wanted to do?
San Antonio, Texas has been home for most of my life, I will say. My family's origins are from San Marcos and Seguin, which border San Antonio. And so growing up here, I would say I've had a unique experience of being able to experience our culture as African Americans, coupled with, if you will, Latin American influence. And I think that that's brought together much of my experience just being from South Texas, period.
And I like how you were able to kind of track back, because in our conversations prior to this, you told me how you would go places and see things and know that, okay, I'm connected, but am I connected? And we'll talk about that a bit later, because that's what inspired you to do the clothing.
Absolutely.
But what inspired you to go into medicine, to do nursing? Because I saw you have 20 plus years of nursing, healthcare in some capacity. And I'm looking through, I'm like, she's not old. So I don't know how you did this. There's a clone of you somewhere floating around.
I've always just wanted to care for people. That's always been just part of who I was. Whether growing up, it was my friends, animals. My mother was a nurse, a profound woman in my life. So all of that shaped me nurturing and caring for other people. So nursing was a natural transition to be able to do that and to make that life's work.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now, one thing that I've seen, at least on the cardiology side, right, on the physician side, is that the experiences or the shared experiences of patients are different. And I use different to not say bad or good, but I want to know, do you see, and I know we talked about those buzzwords of diversity and how the language is changing, but do you see that in nursing as well?
Yes. I will say this. I believe one of the biggest things that we can do in terms of approaching health from the standpoint of truly trying to get us where we need to be is focusing more on education of our people prior to them having to be in the hospital.
Oh,
It's a big part of it.
Yeah.
It's the knowing to pay attention to certain signs that you see, not simply because it's gotten worse, but because this is a warning sign. Pay attention to your body. Be in tune with your body. Be in tune with your spirit. All of that works together to keep you in the best health possible so that it's not a situation where you may have those experiences when you go into the hospital. Let's keep you from getting there in the first place.
Right. And we know that. I mean, that's the thing is that I tell my patients, treat your health like a stoplight. We want you to stay in the green, but we know at some point in time, they're going to get to yellow. And when you get to that yellow, that's that caution. Hey, before you have to stop, because once you have to stop, that means you're taking a stop in the hospital.
Absolutely.
Now, are there any particular areas of education from a healthcare perspective that you think our community, and when I say our community, of course, everybody, but you know what I'm saying when I say that we could particularly benefit from?
My personal opinion and my experience has been one of the biggest things that affects us is our diet. It's
Preach.
knowing what foods work well with you. Yes, we're given milk from here up. Okay, what's the history in terms of how our genetic makeup determines whether or not we can take lactose. And so we've got all this chronic inflammation based on the things that we're eating, portion size, combination styles, how it's prepared over time. I mean, it's just building. And so I feel like that's one of the biggest pieces of education we need is to eat correctly and to do it in a way where, yes, it is fun, right? And you develop the taste for it to be what you want to eat versus what I have to eat.
Right. And I think you're just saying that because you know I'm huge on nutrition. You know I'm a preventive sports cardiologist whether I'm training an elite athlete and talking to them about reducing risk or my 80-year-old with heart failure. Diet is at the center of that conversation. But how do you eat a healthy diet in the Southwest, right? I mean, you hear those statistics. San Antonio we went from number one, and I think we're just in the top 5 for most obese cities, but between churros and everything else that's here, it is tough. How do you do that? Because I know you work out. Right, so people are wondering what's the secret. So, because you're not telling us something.
No, well, I think that's part of it. Is it's the cultural, right? We've associated certain food items with our culture, which is comfort, right? And so once we move towards a culture of health, right, the life-sustaining, life-promoting foods rather than those that just feel good because of nostalgia. That's how you start to flip that, and it's education, not just of us, but also our youth, right? It's Let's move this in a different direction. Yes, it still shows love. Yes, it's still beautiful. It's still us, but we're preserving us because we want to be here.
So
that's the difference.
So I'm hearing a thing. Is that no, because I like the construct of nutrition from a preservation standpoint.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes we have to look back before we can look forward. And a lot of people say, well, grandma, grandpa, they ate this. Yeah, but grandma, grandpa grew it on their own land. They fed it natural stuff. I even grandma was injecting antibiotics, sometimes growth hormones into various things. And I don't think grandma and grandpa put it through a processor, added stuff so it would have and that's where I think there's this disconnect from where we were to where we are.
Absolutely.
Now, the Black West is something that I was exposed to. Coming from North Carolina, heading to University of Kansas, there was a professor, Dr. Chico Herbison, who really drilled down on the Black West, understanding that up to 30%, 1/3 of cowboys were African American, right?
Indeed.
And we don't see that on TV. We don't. I mean, so I'm thinking, how did 1/3 go to? We might end up as a villain in a show. So number one, why do you think it's important to make these connections for our children. Understand, I know you have some that are your personal heroes. Talk about that for a little while.
So, number one, it's important for our children to know the great accomplishments that are of our past so that we have something to aspire to. My son in particular had a project to do on bass reefs. And the depths of the information that he found through that project, however, you asked prior to that, he knew nothing of bass reefs. So things like that to where that has had profound influence on, I have learned the story of this man who learned another language, was the U.S. Marshal, did all these amazing things. I can do the same, right? And so when you look at people such as Nat Love, William Bill Pickett, other prominent figures, you recognize that we have been shielded from some of that. That's not something that, at least for myself, I didn't learn in school. I had to go search for that information.
I didn't get it until I went to college. And Kansas really, University of Kansas, shout out, promoted the Black West, understanding it was part of not only our history, African American, it was a part of American history, right? It's not like, oh, we're going to pull this piece out. No, they said, hey, look, this is how the West was won, really, was on the backs and not on the backs, but on the sides of great men and women, Black, white, Native American, working together to make this a place that we all enjoy. And it's a shame that not more of that story is articulated.
Absolutely. I've had experiences where I've gone to what you would say is a cowboy museum, and we may have 2 photos on the wall as far as a testament to contribution of people of color. However, if you look specifically for a Black cowboy museum, such as the one in Rosenberg, okay, now we're talking our territory. I have a lot more to go on because it's dedicated to such. So it requires the effort, but it's something there are still many people they don't know about. Mm-hmm. And we've got to bring that to the forefront because it's part of American history. More importantly, it's part of our history. It's a testament to all the things we can do.
In that, that disconnect was something that inspired you to do something that, as a healthcare professional, I said, hold on, I got to hear this story for myself. So the clothing line.
Absolutely.
Intricate Lineage.
My baby.
Lineage.
Yes.
Going back, connecting to those things that were, how did you, I don't even know what question to ask.
It's Intricate Lineage is plain and simple, is an appreciation. It's a gratitude. It's my love letter to our ancestry, our heritage, that is often unknown. It's not talked about. I was blessed enough to have the opportunity to have these conversations with my grandparents about life in San Marcos, life in Seguin. My great uncles who would break horses, farmland.
Tell them what broke horses is. I know what that means. One of my pastors, Pastor Brown, he has cutting horses and he breaks horses, does all that. So folks don't know, break horses. Tell them what's I source.
This is innately, you want me to do what, when, and why? And so it's a practice, but it's for me what the way I was taught is it's a relationship that you're cultivating with this animal. It's not just I'm going to break you and get you, dominate you to be able to get you to do what I want to do. It's more from the standpoint of, yes, it entails that, but there's a mutual respect that has to be had, right?
Beautiful.
Horses, and that's why I love them so much, they can tell a lot about you just by you walking up to them. They read you. And so if you're not in the right place, kind of like a woman, if you're not in the right place.
This is a relationship discussion now.
If you're not in the right, we can say energy, in the right spirit, where you encompass competence, it's just like, when they say animals can smell fear. Same thing. A horse is not going to have that trust with you. And so that's one of those situations in terms of how I grew up, what I learned in terms of being in relationship to your environment with gratitude for everything.
Right.
Everything.
And I think that relationship, that connectedness, that energy
right.
is one of the things that inspired
Absolutely.
Intricate Lineage. Now, we've been talking around it and kind of touching it a little bit. Explain to them about the clothing line, because Intricate Lineage is a clothing line.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I won't be rocking any of the pieces because she didn't think about us, fellas. She didn't think about us. She didn't think about us with that. I mean, I'm not hating. I just want to participate. That's all I'm saying.
Thought about you all from the perspective that you will appreciate the strength you see in a woman wearing it. However, you will appreciate the fact that she's a lady.
Okay, I see how you flip that, because I will appreciate it. And at the photo shoot, I know we hadn't shown those images yet. Amazing. It was at a ranch. We had horses. It was amazing. So talk about some of the pieces. And I know certain pieces you have a certain connectivity with and a certain kinship with. Talk about
Absolutely. So the initial first design that I did was a Western shirt, and you will be seeing it soon. But it is composed of black with a red rose brocade. A brocade is kind of like a shiny material. However, the shirt is entitled Still She Rose. And it's titled that because of the journey I had to take to get to where I am, right? And it's in gratitude of every peak, every valley, every low point where I didn't believe I could go forward. I had the most hot. Nope, you're going to have to stand. I need you to stand. You may have to face some tough realities and look at some things about yourself that you didn't want to see. But we can do this. Stand and let's go. So that was the shirt that started it all, if you will. A lot of the names of what I design, I believe, are attributes of women of color. It comes from the strength. It comes from our ability to be resilient, you know. It's all those types of things. And then some of those things are, you know, just characteristics of myself. For instance, this shirt, I've called it bullheaded because I can be. I know that about me. But I'm a Texas woman.
Right.
Can be bullheaded.
I love that each piece has its own personality. And in looking at the shoot, it was almost like the models embodied what that shirt gave. It was like when they put it on, it was like, when Spider-Man puts he Peter Parker otherwise. Right. He put that suit on, he's Spider-Man, right? And I think there was one shot where the young lady, she was outside and she was sitting down and she had the shirt on and she's looking there, and it was almost like, I own this place. I have this presence. And I'm like, is that the shirt, or do they? I thought she said she rented the ranch, but they own that ranch, don't they? It was that type of an energy that we saw in those images. So now, what's the process of creation? And if you can't give me some of the secret sauce, just let me know so people understand that this is something that you thought up, you do the sketches and designs, talk about that process.
So that process, number one, is individual to everybody, right? It's a creative process. For me, my process is I like to get my tablet and sketch while I'm listening to Zydeco. It sways me somewhere else. And I bring to life that strength, that resiliency, that femininity, that sex appeal with sophistication.
Okay.
And so that's my process. From there, that's a whole different side of things that I've had to learn, because nursing was my first language.
Right.
This is completely different, but it is a love. And I'm learning all through the process. So it's beautiful. But yeah, that I will say, with regard to the models and their shoot on that ranch, I have always felt most powerful when I have on my cowboy boots and my hat. Now, I don't have my hat on right now, but I have my boots on.
I want to feel more, because you commanding the space, just so you know. I'm like, well, maybe this is her show and I'm just hanging. I don't just get to hang. You pop. See, look at that. That hat go on, it's a wrap. The hat is a wrap.
It's a wrap. But yes, your boots, there's something about boots. And when you put them on, strength, it just comes right on up.
Comes right on. Well, I mean, now I know you don't have any pieces for men yet.
Yes.
But they're coming, right? Or is, and see, and then you like, I don't know about
I will tell you what I believe.
because I want to be a man. I mean, I don't know if, now I am an eyeglass model. I do model. Actually, there's a brand that a very close friend of my wife is called Hive, and HYVE.
Okay.
And I guess this could be a shout out for them, is I have every pair of glasses that they put out, because their point is, you don't want the glasses to wear you.
Exactly.
You want to wear the glasses, and you want to see life through the lens of who you want to be. Now, I don't know if that's their moniker, but that's the vibe that they give off. It's a group of black women put it together and really are, for lack of a better term, killing the game. And I mean, I don't know if, I know glasses in Western wear don't go, but that's what I'm seeing is when you all are kind of evolving and doing that.
And I love that, because it's almost as if to say, the lens you look through shifts your perspective. It is what it is. So that's the truth. So absolutely, yeah, you never know.
Well, I'm make a connect. Now, if I need to be modeling Western shirts.
So I will say the reason, of course, this was a reflection of how I can relate, and I relate. I'm a woman. And so I know women's curves. I know what we want to accentuate. I know the things that we want to kind of tuck away just a little bit. But I believe in, if you have to have a passion and expertise for your area. I can't tell you a whole lot about constructing a shirt for a man with broad shoulders. I know how to make the shoulder look a little bit broad, but drop it to where it's feminine.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't want no
drop
feminine. I mean, nothing wrong. Hold on, let me clarify. If you want to drop, I ain't even going to touch that. I'm going to say whenever it comes back around, and maybe you can.
There you go.
You know what?
We may get to men.
Yes, maybe to men eventually. I like that. I like the eventual.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I can't wait for things to launch. When can people get there, find it? If it's coming, let us know. Are you going to leak some? Because the folks are going to want to put on, once they see the models, and the models were great, by the way. They were wonderful, super energy. They're going to want one. How? How do they do it?
It will be, Intricate Lineage clothing will be available online to start. We'll move out from there. I am committed to supporting small businesses throughout Texas. So I would like to start with smaller retailers carrying it, just so that we can all grow, but it will be ready spring. So we're looking at beginning of March.
So I know there's a lot of people that are going to see this and wonder, how did you do it? How did you pivot? How did you reach back? How did you bring history into where you are right now? If you had 3 key takeaways for those women, men, children, I think about little girl, my daughter,
Absolutely.
who, has big aspirations. 3 key takeaways.
Don't limit yourself. Biggest thing that I've learned throughout this process. We often hear about a ceiling and a glass ceiling. Well, your whole perspective will change when you realize there isn't one. We've built those ceilings. Most ceilings you see are man-made. We limit ourselves. Don't do that to yourself. Anything is possible. Make time for yourself, because that's where I found what I would consider my gift, which is being able to sketch and create. Prior to this phase in life, I was very analytical, very logical. I could draw you a stick figure. That's as far as it went. We're moving into a place of being able to create from just a whole space, if you will. It's all parts, right? And so that's another part of that. Accept all pieces of yourself. You'll be surprised what you can do, what you can accomplish. That's the biggest thing I would say.
That was for I'm going to take some of that. Don't limit yourself. Ceilings are man-made. And again, just keep up with things and accept all these stuff.
Yep.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining me and having this discussion. I'm going to have to have you back once. Now, am I invited to the launch party? I mean, I know I'm a man and all that, but I want to come to the launch party.
Yes.
I know my wife will rock some of the I'm trying to stay connected.
If you'll get on the horse, do you get on a horse?
I will get on a horse.
We're good there.
But as long as it ain't doing too much, I'll get in. That horse that you owe was cool. That's what I'm saying. All right, so we go. So let me know launch party. Eagles do it. It's gonna be big. I'm so happy to see this come to fruition. To go from vision to product to now purpose. Well, as I said, this is Dr. Bass with the About That Life podcast, the podcast about life. And today, we got to talk to a visionary, someone who saw their history through the lens of not only their ancestors, but also wanted to look forward and create a product that will live long beyond them. Intricate Lineage is an opportunity for all of us to reach back and think back to where we are and what we want to do and who we want to be, understanding that we're only limited by the ceilings we create. And the pieces that are our lives that seem a bit disheveled, those are the pieces that we have to pull back together. Understanding that life is truly living intentionally forever. So I pray that you have intention. I pray that you feel your purpose, and most importantly, enjoy what you do. Thank you.
We truly hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, share it with a friend, leave a comment, and certainly join us for our next episode of the About That Life podcast.